again, everybody. This is Ed with another episode of Call Me Mr. Broadstreet. Well, sorry it's been a little bit late getting this review out, but definitely wanted to get it out there before it was too late for the 30th anniversary of Off the Ground. I can't believe 30 years has gone by just like that. Just flown by. First of all, just wanted to let people know if you're enjoying the content of the channel, please make sure to give a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I really appreciate it for all the new subscribers and all the current subscribers, everybody who's been following me. It's been a lot of fun, and the journey continues, as we all know. But yeah, 30th anniversary of Off the Ground, so you'll have seen the photos. But there we are. That's the album. And that's the back right there that you'll have seen in the photographs. Nicely packaged, you got that right there. Got that going for it. Nicely packaged. And so with the album, as I said, it's been 30 years. I want to say when I got the album, it probably wasn't too long after it came out. It was released on February 2nd of 1993 in both the US and the UK. It probably would have been a few weeks after that I picked up the album, maybe up to a month after, but again, since we're celebrating the 30th anniversary, we're celebrating it pretty close to the release date. So with the album itself, it went to number 17 in the US. It was actually the first top 20 album that Paul had in the US in about 10 years, so that was kind of a nice little sign of things to come. It went gold, so that was very nice to hear about and to see that it achieved that status. Did a little bit better in the UK. It got to number 5. So that's something that's good about the album. But kind of giving my reflections, especially has anything changed over 30 years. Just trying to think about that as I was re-listening to the album. And I want to say my feelings have been roughly the same about this particular album. But let's go ahead and get into some of these tracks here, and we'll go ahead and dive in track by track here. So, first track we have is Off the Ground. That's the title track. That's the title of the album. It's got some really good guitar on it. It's the vocals are really strong, of course. A little bit of the lyrics. It's off the ground, la 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 la. As he's singing along with it. Maybe not the best opening. I think there's another track on here I would have tried as the opening of it. Again, it's nice, it exists, but another track I would have started the album with. Next, we've got the second track, Looking for Changes. So, kind of some interesting lyrics. There was a cat with a machine in his brain. This is very much about protesting animal experimentation. And in fact, you could almost call this album the Vegetarian album, if you wanted to, where it's probably Paul's most environmental album, maybe outside of Wildlife, which was a little over 20 years before this point when that album was issued. Again, very much, just decrying the animal experimentation out there. So, it's there, it exists, it's, Paul's feelings on the subject, and moving on. Hope of Deliverance. Now, this is the first of the 3 strongest tracks in the album, in my view. It was issued as a single. It was actually issued before the album, itself, just a couple months before the album. It went to number 18 in the UK. In the US, it went to number 83, which is kind of a disappointment, because I do remember it getting some airplay on some stations. I think after Flowers in the Dirt, program directors were starting to play some of Paul's stuff again, and it's certainly a strong lead single in my view. Again, one of the 3 strongest songs in the album. Went all the way to number 3 in Germany, so, they had some really great taste with it. I really think this should have been just a bigger hit here, and this is the track I would have led the album off with. Go with your strongest track, put that as the first track right away, get people drawn right into the album, is my view. But a very nice song. He did play that live on the 1993 tour. Really just tremendous track. One of the 3 strongest, as I can say. Next, it's Mistress and Maid is the 4th track. This is the first co-write with Elvis Costello. It's about an ignored wife. She's neglected. I'm just your mistress and maid. Nice vocals, but I think it's kind of a weaker collaboration between this and the other song I'm going to get to that Paul and Elvis co-wrote. They co-wrote some stuff on Flowers in the Dirt. And of course, on the box set, you get a bit more of a taste of that, of their collaborations. The Flowers in the Dirt box set from 2017. Next, fifth track, I Owe It All to You. It's got some nice slide guitar, again, just a nice melody. I Owe It All to You. Paul's obvious love for Linda. She was the love of his life. Just some very nice imagery and lyrics. Well done. Biker Like an Icon. Yeah, that's a sixth track. Well, it's got some nice instrumentation. Could be the weakest track of the album. I tend to think it is really the weakest track. Just because the lyrics are kind of weak. There was a girl who loved a biker. She used to follow him all across America, but the biker didn't like her. You could have tried a bit harder on the lyrics. I know critics were kind of harsh on that song at the time. I'm not that harsh on it, but to me, yeah, it still strikes me as the weakest song on the entire album. Really could have used some tuning up. No real pun intended, but there it is, in that regard. Track number 7, so we get to side 2 of the LP. We get to the other, we would get to the next track here, Peace in the Neighborhood. Just very upbeat. It's an upbeat song, which is nice. It's got some nice, piano and backing vocals. Paul's kind of looking back at the 60s a little bit, at the center of a love vibration, helping each other out. But I do like in one part of this song, he kind of then interjects, oh yeah, then I woke up from my dream to see things as they really are. People struggling to survive. How could peace hope to stay alive? So kind of acknowledging the reality of it, while looking fondly back at the 60s. That's kind of the feeling I get when listening to the track. Track number 8, Golden Earth Girl, Fish in a Sunbeam, Eggshell Seas. Kind of very George, get a nice enough melody, it's there. Yeah, the lyrics do have that very George touch to it, but I could take it or leave it. Certainly stronger than Biker Like an Icon. That's definitely the weakest one, but it's there, it's in the album. Moving on. The Lovers That Never Were. Now, this is the second strongest track on the album. Second essential track, in my view. In fact, look it up after you see this review. After you see this review, not before, hopefully. But Lovers That Never Were, second co-write with Elvis Costello on this album. It's just very strong. The vocals are impassioned. Unrequited Love. I mean, it's just really, really great. The demo of this is on the Flowers in the Dirt box set from 2017, so check that out. Check this out there as well. Kind of gives you a good comparison. This has always been one of the stronger tracks for me. Even the first time listening to this album, this one grabbed me and I went, whoa, okay. Always been a favorite. Then, 30 years later, the next time I listen to this album, whenever that is, one of his strongest tracks. Hands down. Get Out of My Way, 10th track. It's, nice. It's basically just, I can't wait to see my baby tonight. Get Out of My Way. It's nice. It's catchy. It's there, but, moving along. Third strongest track on the album. Third essential track, in my view. Wine Dark, Open Sea. Now, some people I know out there may think, yeah, it goes on a little bit too long. It's like a 5.5-minute song, but I kind of wish it went on longer, to be honest. It's just so nice, tranquil. It's got wonderful guitar. It's got really good mid-range vocals, just gliding nicely along the water, if you will. Really just, good, strong song. Again, one of my favorites from this album. One of the 3 tracks I've pointed out. Finally, we get to finish up with Come On People. Kind of a soaring Hey Jude Part 2, if you want to, compare it to that. And I can see the comparison. It's, about 7 minutes and 43 seconds. Well, we're really going to get it right this time. Paul saying, hey, I must admit, I've made a few mistakes, but just a soaring ballad, not ballad rather, but, soaring anthem is probably the better word to use. Soaring anthem, about just, coming together, and, it's nice. It's a good way to probably end the album. Maybe it does try a little bit too hard to be Hey Jude Part 2, but, a good soaring finish to the album. Now, as far as the album itself, where would I grade it? Well, on my grading scale, I'd probably say pick up next. For the American audience out there, probably a C+. I think there are some really bright moments on the album. A lot like Pipes of Peace, and this might be a little bit of a spoiler, it feels similar. In other words, you had tug of war what I consider a weaker album with Pipes of Peace, and then Give My Regards to Broad Street as a stronger album. With this particular album here, you've got Flowers in the Dirt, which preceded it, which is, in my view, a stronger album, a more cohesive album. You've got Off the Ground, which sounds like some of the leftovers, and some of it was some of the leftovers from Flowers in the Dirt. And then what follows after Off the Ground is Flaming Pie, an essential album. So that's why I say pick up next. Again, if you're going to pick up out of those three, get Flowers in the Dirt, get Flaming Pie, and then go pick this one up as kind of filling that gap of the trilogy from about 1989 to 1997 during that time period. So that's almost it, except I just want to touch upon one thing which I know a lot of folks bring up, and I happen to agree. There were some really good B-sides that were issued to some of the singles. One of them that I featured back on Ken Michaels' show just a few weeks ago at this point, Kicked Around No More. That was a B-side of the CD single for Hope of Deliverance. There's another song, Long Leather Coat, that's kind of got a really rocking vibe to it. That's very pro-animal rights, but that's just very catchy tune. I'm just trying to think of others off the top of my head. Again, a couple other tracks that made it as B-sides of CD singles. And you know what? I think really if some of those were placed on the album proper, as a lot of other folks have already said, and I do agree with this, it would have made for a much stronger album. Yeah, some of those tracks alone would have bumped it up to a B or a B plus in my view. As it stands, again, nice, pleasant, pick up next. So that's it for this week. Again, just hope everybody will still give a thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. I've got a really nice surprise for the next video. I hope that people are going to enjoy it. I know I will. I don't want to spoil too much. It is coming soon, but I will see everybody in the next video. So until then, be safe. I'll see everybody next time. Bye.